Week 9 is upon us. Brent Namco here, along with President, CEO, All Things Fantasy Smack Talk, Dustin McNeil Barkley. I don't know what your middle name is, which is kind of odd. And also, big fan of the terrible movie Freddy Got Fingered. Leave comments below of how awful that really is, if you even know what I'm talking about.
That's... If you get it, you get it. Not everyone gets the humor. It's funny. Trust me, it's funny. About 5%.
Sorry, Tom Green.
5% of the population, I think, thinks.
I bet people don't even know. We're
know.
getting old.
That movie is good. Trade tip for you. This time of year, this is my favorite thing to do. Go to the teams right on the bubble of the playoffs. Maybe they're just barely in the playoffs, or they're just on the outside looking in, and look and see if they have any bye week issues. You know, if they have any Fortes on a bye, Julio Jones on a bye, you know, Marshall like high upside, you know, any of the Packers on a bye. Anyone that you get excited about, and maybe they have bye week issues. If you can solve their bye week issues and give them a trade that is slightly in your favor, but gives them a much better chance to win this week.
Because they need to win now?
They need to win
now. I love
now.
this. I'm actually going to do this.
I've been doing it all week. I've already got one trade done because of it, and it's a great tip. I highly recommend it.
Good first little tip there. All right, I'm going to start with a question.
All right.
All right, the first one comes from Chase9210. Which RB? Gray versus Denver. Taliaferro against at Pittsburgh. Andre Williams versus the Colts. Or Sims at Cleveland. Sneaky Charles Sims.
It is sneaky. Well,
you can't go there.
You don't. It's too early to tell on this one, just because you got to see what's going on with the injuries. If Forsett plays, I'm ruling out Taliaferro. Gray, I'm ruling out. Andre Williams is the guy for me right now, but Sims could be the guy that makes the most sense if Doug Martin's going to be limited, or if Sims even gets announced having a big role. Safest, Andre Williams. If Forsett doesn't play, Taliaferro. And if Doug Martin doesn't play, Sims. That's how I got it.
But if Doug Martin and Forsett is out, then you're still putting Taliaferro number 1. My assumption. Yes. Or would you go Sims? Okay. Go ahead, ask me a question.
All right. Andrew Contrucci. That's not right, I'm sure.
That's why I skipped to the second one.
Terrence Williams versus Arizona. Vincent Jackson at Cleveland. 0.5 PPR.
Yeah, this is actually a lot closer, and it's sad to say that it is, but they're both kind of boom or bust guys at this point. And with the uncertainty of Romo, what's going on there, and clearly Whedon, my assumption is, would then much more target Dez. Typically the backups just lock onto one receiver more often. I'm going to go with VJax here. They both have the same kind of upside, both the touchdown potential. I don't really love either this week, but if I had to choose, I think Jackson has just a slightly better chance of getting touchdown, and Williams is pretty touchdown dependent. All right, Kelly496 OSU, as in the Buckeyes, I'm assuming, wants to know, should they give up Calvin Benjamin to get AJ Green?
This one's hard. This one's really
I know
hard.
I know the right answer. Let's see if you get it right.
All right. My response is...
He's thinking now.
If you need to win right now,
you gotta get it right.
If you need to win right now, you do it, just because there's no guarantee that AJ comes back and does much. But if you're up towards the top, I would probably gamble that AJ comes back and is, you know, the second round pick that you drafted him to be. So that's my answer. Glad I got it right.
I have a little key here. It says if with the standings, yes, you're right. No.
I got it right.
Good for you.
Passed his test.
All right, let's get into the dud sleeper and deep sleeper segment. I'm going to go first because Mike wants me to do it and not Dustin. My dud is going to be Terrence Williams, and it's all that I said. He's very touchdown dependent. He scares me for that reason. Now, granted, with 6 teams on a bye this week, you might have to end up starting him. And sure, could he even catch 2? That's a potential out of him. But he hasn't really turned into the number 2 receiver we kind of all hoped he would be. He is more of a boomer bust, touchdown dependent. Kind of reminds me of a very, very early Colston when he was super touchdown dependent. My deep sleeper is going to be Baldwin against Oakland. The fact Percy Harvin's gone certainly helps his case a little bit. But I just think he's starting to really come into his own as a receiver. I love him the rest of the way, and Oakland's just not a good team whatsoever. My deep sleeper is going to be Juwan Thompson of the Denver Broncos. And the reason he's a deep sleeper is maybe, I mean, you saw I vultured a couple touchdowns, so if you're in deep league, in trouble, sure, you could vulture. But Hillman came up with an odd injury today, so keep that in mind. Even if you could drop your kicker, maybe pick up this guy, it might not be a terrible move. Simply because it was a weird injury. There's more going to come out on Hillman. Ball's still not practicing. There's a 7.8% chance this guy actually ends up starting.
7.8, huh?
I'm strategic like that.
My dud, I'm going Jonathan Stewart. You know, he's been touching the ball a decent amount the last couple weeks. You know, if you picked him up, you're at least thinking that he's an okay desperation flex play if you got bye week issues. But with DeAngelo Williams coming back and going
they
up
said
against,
he's probably starting.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're going up against New Orleans. I mean, there's a good chance they're playing from behind, and you just don't know who's going to be in the game in certain situations. I'm trying to stay away from him at all costs this week. I'm not liking Jonathan Stewart. My sleeper's Denard Robinson. He's had good games, but he hasn't had that one big one yet. I think this is the week. I think this is the
Breakout
week.
game.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the week, you know, hey, maybe he's slightly better than one of your receivers. You can put him at receiver. Hey, maybe he's slightly better than one of your running backs. You can put him at running back. I love this guy. You don't get that
It's in
versatility.
Yahoo leagues, by the way. I think that only is on ESPN. Keep going.
You say Yahoo, but it's Yahoo.
Yahoo.
One day you'll get it. But I like Denard Robinson as this week's the week where he goes nuts. I think he breaks one this week. You can actually run on the Bengals a little bit. And my deep sleeper's Jeremy Hill. They're playing Jacksonville, like I just said with Denard Robinson. Bernard's banged up a little bit. I do think Bernard will play, but if they get up early, they're going to not risk anything with Bernard. Hill could get a decent amount of carries in the second half.
All right, as we go into Mike's picks, he's got a couple of Patriots to start. One's going to be the dud or the bust, and that's going to be Gray. I know he's a hot pickup after this week. He had 18 touches, I believe. But Denver's actually pretty touch against the run, and as Mike states clearly here, it's the Patriot running back. God knows what's going to happen. He actually thinks that it's going to be Vereen more in a passing game this week, but who knows? It's so tough, so therefore, that's his dud. His sleeper's going to be LaFell. He's been good lately. He's been getting more targets. He's been catching them a lot. Big receiver. A lot of trust coming from the coaching staff and Tom Brady, so he really likes LaFell to just keep it going, what he's been doing. And then his deep sleeper is going to be Moncrief. My apologies. For the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, we saw what he did last week. 7 receptions, 113 yards. It's very solid. So with Wayne still kind of banged up, this guy was a hot pickup. He's a good deep sleeper for that reason, but he's not a wide receiver 2 by any means. He's a wide receiver 3 in deeper leagues when you see a little bit more out of him. But Mike certainly likes him, and for good reasons. Mike's an intelligent guy. Some say the smarter Barkley. Because he was like, oh, see? All frazzled. Freddie got fingered. Bullets on tonight!
It's a good movie. And this is the week to get trades done. This is, in my experiences, and I'm a heavy trader.
He is. God, it's annoying.
This is the week to do it because
all day.
the people now know how their team is. And they're desperate, and they want to win.
And put more stock into this year. I don't care what you paid for him in auction or where you drafted him. We're week 9, peoples.
And it's a heavy bye week. Solve people's issues, and they will trade with you.
Oh, terrible toss. I so didn't mean to take my head.